Hello and welcome to Yucatan Today's video series featuring the unique homes and neighborhoods of Merida, Yucatan. I'm Keith Heitke, a senior sales agent with Mexico International. Today we have ventured a little bit south of the main square. We're in La Ermita Park, and this is the beautiful church that was built in the 1700s. Right behind me is the beautiful street that actually goes all the way to Campeche. This was originally the only road there was to Campeche. So what would happen is all the people of Merida would stop here to pray for a safe journey to wherever they were going, but Campeche originally, and then further down into the rest of Mexico. So we have this amazing church. It's a lovely little park. It's actually one of the smaller ones, and it's very cute. Like all the parks, it also has wireless internet at this point. So all of the people of the neighborhood know to come out here. Right now it's early morning, so they're not really here yet, but in the evening it's a wonderful place to come out. So let's take a look. All of Merida's squares originally would have had the fanciest, biggest, nicest houses all around the squares because that was the most lovely place to be, and the richest people would have had their homes here. Still the case down here in this park. It hasn't been taken over by businesses at all, so all the houses all around here besides the church are still houses. I'm sitting in one of these famous chairs that they have all over Merida in every one of the parks. These were places where young couples could come together and they could have a conversation, and they were still separated from each other, so it was perfectly acceptable in society to be able to do that. So they're all over the place here. This place had fallen into pretty bad disrepair. It was really in bad condition. So what they've done is they took up every bit of the street all the way around this park and all the way down some of these streets around here, took all the brick up, and they've also buried all the power lines, which makes such a difference, and planted new grass and put new everything in here. One of the things that I wanted to mention about this park is that this is actually where the panucho was invented. There was a gentleman who lived in one of the houses right around here, and he needed to feed a lot of people very quickly, so he just used everything that he had at hand, and he basically invented the panucho. So this is also known as the place of where they invented the panucho. This is one of the few parks in Merida that actually has a bandstand. They're really common all through Mexico, but they don't have very many here. And it actually is used for bands. It's used quite a bit. This is also a recent addition to the park. It was not here before. But what they have is this beautiful stone, and this is all made from tikul stone, and it's a really beautiful stone. So obviously they've spent a lot of money on this park, and it's a really lovely place for all the neighbors to come through. Most of the buildings on this square are still private homes. They were built as private homes, and they still are. In most of the other squares, they've been transformed into stores and offices and things like that. One of the few that is not still a private home is this building here. And this is dedicated to the study of the Maya language. So it is definitely not a dead language. The people come from all over the place to learn, and this is one of the places that they go. So again, most everything is still private homes. However, they've taken the sort of corner store idea literally. In this park, around the edges of this park, on several of the corners, there's just the little typical Mexican stores where you can find sweets and soda and things like that, just your regular basics, and they're all over the place. Every corner has its own little store. In my work, a lot of people ask me what the neighborhood boundaries are, and in typical Mexican fashion, they are not laid out. So basically what I've been told is whatever bells you can hear, whichever church's bells you can hear, that's the neighborhood that you live in. So the house that we're going to visit today is actually right in between two different churches. This is La Ermita, the other one is in the San Juan Park. So we're going to head just up this brick street here and see this beautiful house. Let's go take a look. So just up the beautiful brick street from La Ermita is this great house that we're going to see today, a very historic house. Let's go in and take a look. So welcome to this house. This is the one that is right in between San Juan and La Ermita, where we just were. And this house is very, very old. We don't know exactly how old. One of the reasons we don't know is because the Spaniards who came here were very private people. They loved stacks and stacks of paperwork, but what they loved more was their own privacy. So oftentimes a house was built and it was built by a rather wealthy family, and it was built for the family. And most of the houses had never changed hands. It was given to the children and given to their children. So this house is very old, as I mentioned, and it has all of its old original details. A lot of the houses that have been restored in Merida, everything's kind of scrubbed and it looks perfect and beautiful, which is a nice way to do it. In this house, you really feel all of the antique, the pieces, the sections, just the bits and pieces of the house. So let's take a look. This house has 4 bedrooms. They're scattered all throughout the house. They're actually quite private because they're in different sections of the house. 2 are on the lower level, 1 is a master, and the other 2 are on the upstairs. There was an upstairs that was added, second floor to this house, that was added when the current owners started it. But every room maintains its original details, all of the beautiful floors, the very high ceilings. We have almost 20-foot ceilings throughout this house, which is very typical. Obviously, all of the houses never had bathrooms. There was no kitchen. That would have all been out in the backyard. This house has all of its bathrooms added. From the front entranceway, with the first bedroom off of that, we come to another vestibule here. This sort of gives over to the master bedroom, which the doors open wide on that. There's a bedroom in the front that originally was a bedroom. Nowadays, they are using it as a walk-in closet, a really generous walk-in closet. Obviously, also, the bathrooms were added, and so those are sort of fit in wherever they can do that. Outside of this, right past the main entrance here, you go right into the courtyard, which is really beautiful. You've got the splashing water, which helps defray any sounds of the street, but also it cools things off. It makes it lovely. It's also very traditional. This patio is in the very center of this house. There's rooms that look out onto it from every direction. From the center courtyard, we go back into the main entrance. This is a sort of little den area, which is cute. It used to be part of this bedroom, so it was a really, really huge master bedroom. So where we go here is into this living room, and they've done a beautiful job on this, and people had always brought things from all over the world. And what they have here is sort of an Asian theme going on. And as unusual as that might seem, it really works well here. It works great with everything. From the formal living room, we take a step up here. This is actually the dining room now. A lot of people really love the fact that modern houses are so open. This is very closed, this house. In general, it's very closed because the walls are so thick. They're made out of rocks. But what you can do is, just with opening these very wide doors, you have the feeling of this pass-through. One of the ways, this one actually opens up not only into the living room, but also into the center patio, into the kitchen, and then out into the family room in the back as well. The kitchen that we have here has been completely added. This was something that they wouldn't have had. The kitchen, again, would have been out in the backyard. So the kitchen that they have here is a complete new creation. From the dining room, we go up another couple of steps. They didn't try to level this house out either. A lot of people, when they're restoring, try to level everything out. But it can be rather boring. Of course, it's necessary in some cases. Here, they just kept it exactly the way that it was. All these things were added through all the years. Another thing that they did in this room, this is actually the family room now, so we've gone from the formal living room through the dining room to the family room. What they did here is expose all this rock. This is what is behind every wall in Merida of all these old houses. They never would have done that originally because they wanted to have such a formal look. But nowadays, we just love something like that. So this entire wall has this beautiful exposed rock. The tiles throughout the house are all original as well. These are pasta tile floors. This is a larger size. Often they're done in a 20-centimeter square. This is 30 centimeters. And it's done in a black and white pattern, which basically goes with everything. So again, through the entire house, we've walked all the way to the back here. It's sort of a large square house. And from this basically family room, we go out into the beautiful pool area. This is yet another case of having a beautiful backyard, beautiful, quiet, tranquil backyard. So many people, when they first come to Merida, they think, oh, these poor people that have to live in these noisy houses. It's very noisy out on the street. There's no denying that. But the minute you walk in, it already gets quieter. And by the time you get to the backyard, it's really quiet. You can hear this fountain perfectly, and it's just a tiny bit of noise, but you can hear it perfectly back here because it's so quiet. So also, everything grows really beautifully too. There's not a lot of yard. There's nothing really to maintain back here as far as grass or anything, but it still has a very tropical, tranquil feel. From the pool area in the backyard, we again pass through the family room. Right off the family room is the stairway up to the second floor, the new second floor. Let's take a look. Coming up to the second floor, the first thing you feel is all the breeze that's coming through. As soon as you get up onto the second floor of any building, if it doesn't have a second floor, if you go up to the roof, the air is just blowing really nicely. On the steps here where I just came up, there's a lot of detail. They put pebbles on the edges of this. Again, there's sort of detail, old world detail in every part of this house. So up here what we have is 2 bedrooms and a bathroom that they share, and they've put sort of high ceilings up here, here as well so that it feels like the rest of the house. There's also access in a couple of places to all the rest of the roofs and the roof deck areas. Thanks for joining us. I'm Keith Heitke with Mexico International. We'll see you next time on Yucatan Today.